Just like Tinder, you're not quite sure what kind of person you're going to meet until you swipe right and meet them at that local coffee shop. So you can either be an angel or maybe the reincarnation of Satan himself. Welcome to Soul Quest. Today we're going to talk about what happens when you do accept a company and to spot the red flag before it's too late. Before we start, this video is mainly focused on the teacher's class just because I have a lot more experience in that. But this shouldn't be too much difference with other job except for the qualification and some minor differences here and there. Now, if you are choosing the teacher's class, I'm pretty sure you're going to choose either the ESL, which is like basically a training center, or either in a school. The only big difference is that one, you're going to be working in a school. The other one is going to be working like all these business building out here. Now, first, congratulations. You finally finished your interview and you picked the best job for you and you're ready to go on to your first company. Now, what's the process truly like? So typically after the very first interview, you accept the job and then you get congratulated by the recruiter, and with this big smile on her face and a big wad of cash in her hand, she pushed you to the case handler. The case handler's job is to process your visa to get you ready to China and any other shenanigans that you need before coming to China. And typically they would ask you for these 3 core documents. It'll be your bachelor's degree, your passport, and also your criminal record. Now, where the hell do I get this criminal record? Typically you get it in the government office, usually about like 25 buckaroonies up to 50, and takes about 2 days back in the States, but I'm not sure what it is in your country. It should be similar to that. And after 2 days, you're going to get that paper and get it authenticated along with your bachelor's degree. Your case handler will give you an address and also like a sticker for you to send those bachelor's degree and also your criminal record to the authentication office. And once you get it back, then that's when your whole process starts. Now, I understand you're all jittery and you can't handle to flip the bird to your old manager in your old job, but I would hold that off for now, because you'll never know what happened and nothing is set in stone until you get that flight ticket. Once you get that flight ticket, maybe you can do that, but up to you. There might be red flags along the way, which I totally recommend you just back off and find another company or a backup company. Now, talking about red flag, this is a great transition to our next topic, and that is if your company doesn't pay for your TEFL program. So usually after you send those 3 core documents, your case handler will give you this code to do your TEFL certification. Basically, this is an online certification to teach abroad. If you don't have this, you can't teach abroad. And 99.9% of the time, company often pay for these programs because it's not even expensive. But if the company doesn't pay for this, I would say the company doesn't even care about their employees or future employees, or either they're broke. And now 3 weeks pass, you're flipping your 37th patty and you're just at your wits' end. You can't handle Becky in the background just saying, oh, it's 3 more hours until I clock off. And then you feel a vibration in your pants and then you check it out. It's all the documents that you've been posting in. It all passed through and you got your visa ready and the flight ticket is in the email and you're all jittery and you're ready to kind of like pack up and leave. But you decided not to do that because the thing is, you might need your old job back in case things doesn't work out too well. You will never know what's going to happen because, again, it's a foreign country that you don't really know much about. And having a backup before transitioning to a new life, it's a pretty good deal. So just put in your 2 weeks notice once you do have everything in order. So what does a complete paper actually looks like? Basically, it's your bachelor along with the authenticated one, criminal along with the authenticated one, your passport, and also your TEFL certification along with the authenticated version. And this is what complete looks like. And once you do have all of this, you're basically ready to get on to the next step. Stop for a second. I'm sure we all have common sense. Before you go on your trip, make sure you prepare well. Get your clothes ready, get all your memorabilia ready, and say your goodbyes because you're about to move on to the next step. And now finally, you're at the airport ready to get on with your new adventure. What really happens next? So typically, once you do arrive in the destination, for me with Shenzhen, let's just put Shenzhen as like the scenario. You arrive in Shenzhen, you're in the airport, you'll either be greeted with an ambassador or a driver. If you come in late, sometimes they'll be late, and sometimes there'll be confusion here and there. As for me, there was a bit of confusion, but don't worry, just stay where you are and look out for your name in like one of those like billboard that people just hold on to. The driver or the ambassador will either use the subway or the bus, or maybe the car, private car, taxi, etc. Just like that, get to your hotel. And at this hotel, you can take a bit of a breather and kind of collect yourself and talk to any other expat around the area. Now, why are there expat in this place? So basically, an intake group is a group of expat getting ready to teach for the current semester or either for the current job company they're going to go to. Typically, a company would kind of get like around 5 to 15 groups of expat. And the main reason why is because not all expat even survive on the second day of China. Either there's something wrong with their documents or either something ridiculous. One of the example is that one of my old intake, he quit on the second day just because he said the chicken tastes off here when he bought something from McDonald's. And I'm like, now, once you do take a breather, and the next morning, typically you're gonna get your breakfast, have some fun, and then this is where the whole orientation starts. And you're gonna explain to you what Shenzhen is like, or what China is like, or wherever you're at, and give you the basics and all the gist of that. This is where you're gonna sign the second contract, because on the very first time you signed an e-contract listing all the things and all your responsibilities. And this is the hard copy contract to finalize everything. This is where you have to keep your eyes open and make sure every details are the same. If there's any slight differences, make sure to point that out and make sure it is the same as it is in the e-contract. A good example would be some sort like in the e-contract, it never state that you would work after 5 p.m. and you'd be working 8 hours per day. Maybe in the hard copy contract, it states something sort like you still work 40 hours per week, but you do have to attend after school activities, which is typically after 5 p.m. This might be a problem to some people, some not. But I'm not saying all companies. Some company would take advantage of this. It's because like you're already in a different country, creating a problem will be like a pain in the ass, so you might just well accept it. But no, don't do that, man. I know it's a pain in the ass, but you agreed upon what you agreed on. So make sure everything is all the same. So before we talk about the solution, there is one other thing that you need to do is to go to your case handler or the ambassador right over there. Make sure to ask them if whether they already have a school for you if you're working in a school, or either they already have a certain training center district for you to assign to before you finalize the contract, or 3 days before you finalize the contract after you sign the contract technically. Because the thing is, there are some company out there that would take in expats and keep them in China. That way, whenever someone quits, which typically often happen, or either someone get pregnant, sick, or they have to go home, or any other thing, they could just replace them quickly. Because the process of getting someone from back in the States or anywhere else outside of China, getting to China is quite lengthy. And some school or either training center do not like that, because the school would not be too happy having the teacher that they paid for absent for 3 weeks. And this could cause a lot of problem with their future contracts. So they would often get these expats to China and have them as retainer without letting them know that they are retainers. Be sure before you sign the contract, or maybe 3 days after you sign the contract, if there's no specific, no predetermined school you would be interviewing in, or either training center that you are sure that you're going to be in. Based off my 5-year experience in China, there is a 3-day clause to most contracts. And usually if you quit before 3 days after this contract is sent, if there's any other disagreement, you're able to dissolve the contract with minimal casualty. If you quit before 3 days, you probably only have to pay for their training and orientation fee, TEFL, authenticated documents, which in total would be around $500. But if you quit after 3 days, that you have to pay 2 months worth of salary to the company as compensation as well. Pay for the flight ticket as well. Not only that they have you pay for the flight tickets, but also try to blacklist you from the government as well. Just depends on the company. So do be careful, read your contract, and make sure everything is in order, and watch for the red flag, because you only have 3 days. So what happens if you do actually found the red flag and you are in China? Now this is where some nest egg are required. Along with all the things that you packed earlier, you do have to bring in around like $200 up to $500. Now if you're down bad, probably like around like $150 should be enough for 1 week. Typically, after you quit a company prematurely, you'd be given 2 weeks to stay in China, and after that, you have to get the hell out of there. Or not, you'd be charged with overstay visa, and that could be a big no-no if you want a future in China as well. So during those times, a lot of people would often find another company. It's typically easier if you find a job in China, as previously mentioned in the previous video. Yeah, that's That's how you get out of the problem. Find another job before 2 weeks end. And it's not that hard. It typically only takes around 3 days to find a job, maybe less than that. Sometimes even just a straight hour. Just go to a company, like English company out here, and just say, I'm looking for a job. Okay, I'll process your visa. And done. And all the authenticated documents out there can still be reusable, but you might have to get out of China and go to another country before coming to China again. Now, if you don't have any red flags, then congratulations. And I'm telling you, China is a great place. It's a safe place for a job. I think it's somewhat secure too if you do have a bachelor's degree, and you can have a future out here. So yeah, if you have any question, as always, comment down below. Until next time, SoulQuest logging out. Peace. And right now it's almost sunset time. So check this out. There's some people taking videos out there. That's cool. All right, see you later.